did that together.
We did. It was excellent.
So, where are we, Mr. Joseph Drust?
We are at Comic-Con in
San Diego. Wow, that was timed out great. So we're just doing, letting you know we're going to be starting here with the stream, but we wanted to get you excited, get you ready to get going. We're going to be sharing a lot at 6:30. Be sharing a lot of items with you, some things that we're going to be doing here at the booth, things we're going to be doing online. Obviously, we're going to be doing some streaming here, right from the showroom floor.
Some little demos.
Yep. Joseph, you're going to do one.
Yes,
you're
a little bit.
You're going today.
I am going today.
I'm going tomorrow. And then we got a big list of people. We're going to share that list with you when we start back up here at 6:30. We just wanted to get some excitement rolling here in the chat, right? And get people excited and ready to go. We're excited for this. We've never done a stream live like this from an actual conference.
It's kind of loud in here. They keep telling me to talk louder.
You know, this is going to be the one time my loud voice
actually works. They have not told Paul to be quiet.
Yeah, well, it's usually on that side. But this is where it could be beneficial with being all the crowds going on. But I think this is going to be the fun part with people being walking by, having conversations with us even too. You too can be involved now with people. So at least when they're talking to someone here at the show, you know they're talking to someone here at the show. Unless it's Joseph. He's talking to himself often.
Mumbles.
You do. Sometimes you do mumble. Sometimes that mumbles. It comes out. It's just mumbling, right? So we're going to be starting up here in a little bit, sharing everything that we're going to be doing with you again at Comic-Con, and also letting you know about our schedule that we have coming up and sharing some more other items for you. So we're pretty excited to be here. I've only been to Comic-Con, I think, 4 times?
I've been
5
3.
times. How many times have you been? This will be your
Number
third.
3. Yeah.
And then you have the family coming to this one, which they've never been.
Never been yet. It'll be chaos.
Yeah,
it's already getting packed all through here. It's already packed
so
with people.
We're gonna let the crowd come up here, and then we're gonna come back to you guys.
We're back.
I wish we had the horn thing. We're back live on the Comic-Con floor in San Diego.
Preview night. Preview night in San Diego.
I didn't know how busy it would be for preview night because I've never been here during preview night, so I didn't know how busy this was going to be. Like
it's like a normal day.
Listen,
there are a lot of people.
The Funko Stampede that happened when the doors opened, because we've got Funko over here to a little bit closer to our booth.
We didn't bring one over.
We're going to get some Funkos. Hey, Kyle, can you grab our Funkos, please? So, you guys had to see, if you were here, if you've ever been to Comic-Con, it was crazy to watch. Just people sprinting from Funko. And we got some exciting stuff that we're going to tell you about that we're doing for Funko for those of you that will be coming here. But for those of you that are unable to make San Diego Comic-Con, we are going to be streaming. Oh, is that you?
This is me.
Okay, this is.
I got my own.
He's jumping in. This is Funko Joseph. Does it look like him?
It does. They even got like the double shirt.
and important cargo pants, because you don't go to a conference without cargo pants. Maybe.
Look.
That's me.
That's you.
That's me. Yeah. And then you got Solomon Blair with wonderful flannel. And wearing the Japan ZBrush.
They got his hair right too.
They got his hair right. Yeah, it's like Solomon's the wavy guy, wavy hair. That's cool. So Funko actually did these for us, and these are 3D prints too in color. So we're gonna have these at the booth for people that are gonna be coming to Comic-Con. We're gonna physically have these at the booth. A lot of other things going on, which we're gonna be talking about here today. But again, back to the people that are unable to make San Diego come to Comic-Con. You know, it's a massive show. It's probably the biggest show I've ever been to. So we are going to stream our sculpting session. So we've got a list of artists coming. This show is also 5 days, if you're counting Wednesday, right? Wednesday, Thursday, right? Yeah, so it's today to Sunday. It's a long show, right? Wednesday to Sunday. So we've got 4 artists coming from the Funko booth. They're going to sit here and sculpt. We've got 3 artists coming from the Sideshow booth. They're going to come here and also sculpt. We've got a Hasbro artist. We've got a special effects artist, Rod Maxwell, Steve Wayne coming. So we've got a great lineup. So to see that lineup, you're going to want to go to pixologic.com/Comic-Con. Again, that's pixologic.com/Comic-Con.
And you'll see all the people that are going to be on the demo station here doing sculptural demos, and then you get their times and when they're going to show up.
Yeah, you can just Google that too. You can just put Pixologic Comic-Con. You don't need to put the years or anything like that. And then you'll have a list there of who's sculpting, what times they're sculpting, the days they're sculpting. So we've got a ton of really great artists doing this. And you know, for us, this is the first time we've ever done something like this. We're on an actual showroom floor.
And doing it live, ZBrushLIVE.
So I'm excited to see how this goes. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've also, like we were mentioning, teamed up with a lot of companies to do some things special. For those of you that are home watching right now, maybe you're going to come down this weekend, you're flying in on Thursday, Friday, or something like that. We've got a lot of stuff going on here at our booth as well. And again, our booth number is 5120. So 5120. We're right in front of the Artist Alley. So if you've ever been here, that's where we're at. If you're coming, that's where you go meet Ask ZBrush Man, Joseph Drust. How many videos have you done?
It's too many.
I think you're up to about 1,000, you think?
No.
I think it's close because you're on volume 3 or 4?
Close to 500.
No way, man. You gotta have more than that. I don't know. Okay, well, keep sending those in, of course, because as you can see, he likes doing videos. He's a big fan of it.
Do a lot of
and you're good. You are good at it.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, back to like the things we're doing here. For those of you coming to the show, of course, we're going to have the people sculpting here right at the booth. We've got all their sculpting things going on, but we're giving some stuff away too that we're pretty excited about, right? We're giving away copies of ZBrush. Copies. We're giving away multiple copies
a day.
What we're going to be doing is actually using these little pins. So these are free for anybody. That's the special one. You can show that one next. I know you're excited. So there's these nice pins for you to come by the booth pick, and then this is a special edition one that we made just for Comic-Con, obviously with the yellow. We only made 100 of these, so these are exclusive fun ones that our presenters are going, our sculpting session people are going to be wearing and then handing out as well. And then Joseph, you got the white one.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here with this, for those of you coming, you're going to grab this pin, and then you're going to do a social media, Instagram or Twitter, and then we're going to randomly be picking people to win prizes. And some of those prizes, like I said, ZBrush licenses we're giving away. We're giving away some, speaking of Funko,
my mind.
VIP passes. So this is how you become part of the Stampede. You have to have one of these, and then you can actually go to their booth and make a purchase. So Funko was kind enough to give some of these as well to give away to us. We've also got Sideshow Collectibles teaming up with us. We're going to have a piece, Lady Deadpool. She's like, I think she's about this big. Whatever. You guys can tell what this big is.
Yeah.
I'd say, what, 18 inches, 24 inches, somewhere around there like that. So it's a very cool piece. And the sculptor, Will Harbaugh,
will be here.
Demoing. Doing one of the sculpting sessions. In fact, here, I'll even tell you the day and time. Let me go to my handy thing, the cell phone here. And I'll tell you.
These sculpting sessions, you guys are all going to be able to watch them. So if you just go to ZBrushLIVE.com and log in, then you'll be able to see the sculpting sessions. And we're going to have it set up so you guys can actually chat with them, so they'll see what you guys are commenting on, and then maybe they can do that. They'll also have a headset and microphone set up, so you'll have a little better audio than you're getting probably with me and Paul here yelling at you right now.
Stop yelling at people. So Will Harbottle is actually going at 1 o'clock on Friday. So all the sessions, again, that's Friday, July 19th at 1 o'clock with the Sideshow artist. So we're actually also be giving away that piece that he sculpted. Yep. So Sideshow also gave us one of those pieces to give away. So we're excited about that. We also have Hasbro is giving us some exclusive Comic-Con toys to give away. So that's pretty cool to have. And then we've got one of their sculptors on the booth. My man, James Carter, is going to be on the booth. So he's also, let me get the time since we're talking about him. I'm going to shout out to him.
Him up?
I got to pull him up. I got to let him know. Wait, no, that's Darnell, my man Darnell. So James is going to be going on.
He's finding it.
I'm finding it. You talk to them. I'm finding it.
We also have a whole bunch of stuff that we're selling in the booth as well. So we've got all our ZBrush swag stuff. So you got your hats. You also got your dad hat.
Oh, that's a new one.
It's a new one, the dad hat.
This is the new one. Yeah. Why do you think they call it? Because you can kind of like do this kind of a thing with it. I actually like this now. How good does my hair look right now? It looks fantastic. I'm wearing a hat still. That's what this looks like right now. So you got these type of style hats that we're selling also at the booth. And if we got any left, we'll be putting them on our website. Then we've got the new eras. So this is actually a navy blue. We got the light gray. We got the typical black and whites as well.
We got our ZBrush swag shirts.
That's a new one.
It's a new one.
It's a new one. Yeah. So we got the ZBrush there happening there now. And then Mr. James Carter for Hasbro. He's also going on Friday. He's the first person. He's going at 10 a.m. So all the streams start at 10 in the morning for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they all start at the same time. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they're the same schedule in the sense that all the days are the same. So Sunday's different. The show ends earlier. So make sure you do again. Yeah, make sure you go to the website, thepixologic.com/Comic-Con. Okay, to do that. And then you got the tote.
I'm gonna let you describe it.
Oh, the tote.
So we got totes too.
Yes.
Pal totes.
Yeah, we're calling them pal totes. ABBK for those that have ever watched the stream. So these are free as well. We're giving these out to the people here at the show, coming by our booth to say hi, and coming through, fill out a form, and
there we go.
Oh, up higher. There we go. Joe, you got it. That's much better. No, do it again. Much better.
Much better.
Yeah. Perfect. So we're giving those away as well. We've also had Fantasmic. We're going to be giving away some awesome books from ZBrush artists out of Japan. These are just incredible artists. So we're going to be giving these books away at the show as well. Like I'm telling you, man, we've got a lot of stuff going on right here. Right? And then we got, we
got some demo items, so some Ultimaker prints that we worked with them, and they printed out a bunch of stuff for us.
Let me do this. Can you wear this the whole show like this? Because this is what cosplayers do, man. This is some serious stuff. So Joseph, you made this, right? So
yes,
all in ZBrush.
Yep.
We've got the rest of the parts here too. He's only
going to show.
I'm only grabbing this real quick.
It would look like this,
or I could do this.
Yeah, it's final.
Right. So he printed this off an Ultimaker to kind of show, like, hey, cosplay stuff that you can do with ZBrush. Are you shaking no?
I'm shaking no.
All right. I got what you're doing. I got what you're laying down. That's fine. We also, because I'm not a coffee drinker, but
which is ridiculous because I think Paul would get coffee all the time.
I don't have any caffeine at all. I don't touch it. I don't have coffee. I'll do tea every now and then. Like you care, but I'll do tea every now and then. You though, however,
Coffee.
you can't function
No.
without the coffee.
Gotta get up in the morning and
Yes,
get in there. Gotta drink the coffee.
that's the most important thing for you.
It is. It is.
I just need a bowl of cereal. I'm good to go, right?
So come on down to the booth. You guys
I'm sorry,
are
were we going on tangents?
We're going on tangents.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut you off.
Okay, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, so we're here. We'll be here for the whole show, so definitely stop on by. We'd love to meet you, and then we've got a whole bunch of stuff here going on, as Paul mentioned.
Yeah, we got a large crew here helping out. We got
Talk about this at all?
show specials as well going on. So if you're here, we got some specials going on ZBrush itself and ZBrush Core. So come by the booth and ask us about those specials. You know, it's also, Joe, you made a good point, something that we're giving away at the booth that's pretty exciting. Again, to go along with the pins.
All through the pins.
Yep. Wacom is announcing something here at Comic-Con. They're going to be making that announcement. They're showing it right now, actually, as part of the preview night tonight.
Yep.
We've been lucky enough to get one of those new products.
We have it right here.
It's not this one.
have
It's not this, but it's over there.
Yeah.
They can't see it, but it's over there. So we teamed up with them, and they're giving us one of those new products to give away.
It's all through the badges.
Yep. So if you're coming to the show again, make sure you come by the booth so we can walk you through the free pin, get you your free tote. Let you know what their show specials are here. And then we are selling this stuff at the booth as well. We're selling the mugs, we're selling the hats,
shirts.
we're selling the shirts, we're selling Drust time. I thought I'd get you guys some free
You
time.
get me for after this little spiel we got.
I kind of want to add you to this. Maybe we can do like an eBay Joseph Drust, 1 hour Joseph Drust. What would that go to? Again, I'd probably market. No, it probably would. Because if you marketed the @ZBrush guy, Joseph Drust, it'll probably go for a pretty penny. I know I would bid $1.
At least $1.
Well, that's all. That gets the ball rolling.
I work on coffee.
It's getting a bid. So. Coffee. You can pay them in coffee grind. What's your favorite coffee? Do you have
Just anything dark. Anything dark.
So you're going to be sculpting also something at the show. What are you going to be working on at the show?
All sorts of stuff. So we're going to do. I think we're going a few times.
You're going to go right after we're done here with this.
And then we're
you
gonna
and me
go
having a conversation, inviting everybody in. And again, thank you for tuning in. We're excited to have you here.
Yeah. So we're going to mix it up.
Yeah.
Maybe do some helmet stuff, and then do some maybe things with some of the new rendering NPR system, maybe some robots. You never know.
I'm gonna do some Superman. I'm gonna do probably a little bit of some Gundam, and then I got my own little mech samurai guy I've been working on. I'm gonna just change it up the whole time that we're here. And again, I'm gonna be streaming myself tomorrow. I'll be one of the people jumping on the computer here and sharing the screen with you at home, and also of course the people here. We've got this nice monitor behind us that people will be able to watch. Yeah, right now it's like a big flashing thing. So you're going to be, are you going to share though what you're going to start working on next?
No, yeah.
You want to?
Surprise. It's always a surprise. It may turn into something else.
He wants to make it a surprise. Even though you're literally going to start doing it once I leave Frayed, you're going to start doing it.
We need to set up some stuff.
Oh, you want to set up maybe a little solid?
A little solid.
Right. So this is great. Please, like Joseph said, for those of you online and watching online, there is the chat. By all means, go ahead and fire away with the chat. You're going to obviously be able to hear the people sitting here right on the showroom floor. They're going to have a little iPad here that they can see your chat. So if they can engage at times with you, they will. Okay, but just keep in mind when you guys are watching all these streams these next 4 days, it is a little bit louder through here.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos.
People walking in front. They might just be so engulfed working inside of ZBrush or sculpting something. They may not look at the chat that much. We're going to do our best, obviously, to be monitoring it and hitting you up with any questions that come up through that chat. Yep. But again, we aren't doing this from the showroom floor, so it's the first time we've done this. So
it's ZBrushLIVE at Comic-Con.
That's what you're just
referring to. Yep. ZBrushLIVE at Comic-Con.
Well, this is going out to all of our platforms. We're going to our ZBrushLIVE, we're going to our Facebook, we're going to our YouTube, and we're going to our Twitch channel. So we're going to all of those. The normal thing that we do with the ZBrush Summit, which, by the way, since we have you, if you haven't seen the news, ZBrush Summit is the end of September. So it's the last weekend of September. So that's September 27th, 28th, and the 29th. And as always, we'll be streaming all that live. We have...
This is free.
It is free. We've also got the live ZBrush Sculpt Off that'll be happening during that event, which that'll be the Thursday, which is the 26th of September. But if you've never been to that also, you know, just like, with that said, if you've never been to even a Comic-Con, you gotta come to this thing at least once, because the stuff that you see here is the artwork. Like, in front of me, in front of Artist Alley is pretty awesome. Seeing all the artists, but what people do cosplay-wise.
I've seen a few Iron Men walking around.
Oh, you have like full, just ahead, because it's great what people do. It's become like a profession, like a whole thing. It's pretty awesome. So if you've never been to San Diego Comic-Con, I'd highly recommend getting here at least once in your life, especially if you're a fan of like comic books, gaming, film, anything in that world. Of course, comic books, anything in that world. But the artwork here, though, there's people that are illustrators, concept artists. There are sculptors here. Besides us being here, there are people here that we have right behind us.
Yeah, there's a sculptor of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So Steve Arner, who sculpted the original ones. For those that know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a popular show in the 80s. It's coming back now, and now it's known now as TMNT. I can't do it now because I'm so used to saying Teenage Mutant. So he's actually right behind us. Yeah. So these are the type of artists that are here at
And
Comic-Con.
he uses ZBrush.
He does. Yeah. He uses ZBrush a lot. So this is why when we were putting together this stream and getting the people up, we really wanted to grab people from different types of backgrounds that are at this show to really get you guys kind of that are watching, and you can really see a little bit of what this show's like through us here at our booth. So I'm excited. This is going to be awesome. On Sunday, though, I might be a little bit more like this.
And may not have a voice. You never know.
No, I think I'll be good.
You think so?
Well, I've gone through 3 days of the summit just straight talking. I think my voice usually can stand things. It's loud and obnoxious.
It is loud.
I should be good there. It shouldn't be any problems doing that. So, again, speaking of that, if you've never also been to the summit, you got to come to that as too. It's a very different experience. Physically coming to our
the whole ZBrush community just shows up.
It's kind of like it's a very, 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 very smaller version of Comic-Con style, where it's really about the artwork. It's about artists mingling and talking and sharing ideas, and sharing artwork, and talking to other people in the industries too, and having conversations. And there's other companies that come to that as well for us. So again, if you've never been to the ZBrush Summit, I'd highly recommend you come at least once. We'd love to see you in person. And again, that summit this year is going to be September. And it's the last week of September. Mark the calendar. So again, that's September 27th, 28th, and 29th. And the Sculpt Off, which will be live. Then you guys are used to Joseph and Jessica, not Jessica, doing play-by-play. So that's always really fun to see what artists do in 3 hours. So we're kind of trying to give that same feel here. Is what we're doing. But obviously there's people walking back and forth, so hopefully you guys get a really good breath and idea of what this show's like, if you can't. So we're pretty excited. And you know what, I want to give a shout out to our broadcasting company here, Mobion, who is bringing you guys this broadcast. We teamed up with them. They're doing a great job, so we've got the crew here with us too.
We've got some crazy technology in a backpack. It's amazing.
It is quite pretty cool. It is pretty cool. The technology we're living in today is pretty amazing. The fact that we are doing this right now from a showroom floor, streaming, is pretty incredible.
It is.
It's pretty awesome. And then reach out and touch to us. So I'm pretty excited for this. We're going to let Joseph start sculpting and getting in ZBrush. So
I'm gonna switch over. It's gonna be a few minutes potentially.
Well, yeah, we're just going to switch the monitor so people here can also see what he's sculpting, right? And then I'm also going to have to get out frame here in a second here so he can get comfortable and acquainted. He'll probably just keep talking to you. You're going to switch to the headset though, so your sound.
Yeah, my sound. Yeah, we'll switch to the headset and go to that.
Yeah.
And I'll have Tiny Pulse.
You're going to keep Tiny Paul here.
Tiny Paul.
Do you want all the tinies here?
No.
All the. Okay.
I just want Tiny Paul.
Okay.
Look at his hair. It looks so much better than the one.
Wait, here. Let's. Well, this is normally how it would be.
This is Paul without a hat. And that's Paul with the hat.
The new hat. This is a new hat too.
That
so
hat.
I wanted to wear the new hat so people could see it. Kyle made me be the advertisement. He said, "You're the booth babe tonight, Paul. Wear the hat." So I'm like, "Okay, you got it, Kyle." So this is going to be awesome. Please continue tuning in. And by the way, when we're doing these streams, okay, we're going to be, the artist is going to be streaming an hour at a time, except for Joseph.
They're making me go longer.
I'm making him go longer, okay? But every other artist is going to be an hour, and they're going to have a 30-minute gap between each one, okay? So just make sure you're looking at that schedule and seeing when the artists are coming. And if you tune in and you just see a slide, don't think that we're not streaming. It's just we're probably in between. Switch between the artists. Because the artists, of course, have to get on this spot where we're at, get comfortable, get the situation here for the Cintiq that we have here for them and the keyboard. And Joseph prefers a Mac keyboard. I do too. I'm using a Mac keyboard. And then
we switch that around.
Yeah, so please just keep that in mind when you go look at the schedule. You're going to tune in anytime these next 4 days. That you might be just tuning in during the middle of a point where we're swapping between the artists. And again, just to see the schedule, just go to the pixologic.com/Comic-Con. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
There's a dash in the comic, so it's like comic and then dash con.
You can also go to ZBrush Central, the new ZBrush Central, and then up at the top there will be a link, and you click on that and it'll give you the information.
Or there's a banner on pixologic.com. Go to our Instagram, follow our Instagram, follow our Facebook. All that's there. Our Twitch, if you just go to the twitch.tv/Pixologic, you'll find out there's many ways to find us through here. So please tune in, and I hope you guys really enjoy the show that we put together here. I'm excited. Joseph's excited.
Always excited.
Mark off camera's excited.
He's very excited.
People are excited. So
yeah, so come on by. Get yourself a pin.
So give us 30 seconds, Drust. You entertain the people while I move out of camera frame.
I gotta go. We gotta do the headset, and then I gotta find my chat.
He wants to do the headset, everybody.
And I gotta find my chat too.
Okay, so I'll bring you your chat. So give us 1 second. Joseph's gonna now jump on and get going inside of ZBrush. So thanks for tuning in. Give us 1 minute here while Joseph gets situated. Enjoy the show, and please do go ahead and chat away in the chat system so that we can see what everybody's asking questions. And again, keep in mind when the presenter or the sculptors are sitting here sculpting, some of them might not be able to be engaged as much with the chat.
Or be distracted.
They'll be distracted, they're focused on what they're working, or maybe someone comes up and asks. That's what you're gonna get with a live, like this is a real live show, like a crazy live show. So it's gonna be pretty exciting. I probably said that now 12 times, if not 15 times. It's probably giving away a prize for every time I said exciting. Why not? All right, so I'm off camera here in a second, everybody.
I'll be back in a minute.
Have a wonderful, wonderful show watching us online. And for those that are coming here, please again come by, see us. We're at booth 5120, that's 5120. We're right across from Artist Alley. So you go all the way to the end of the convention center. You got Artist Alley, and our booth is, we're looking at the artists right now. And for other just markers, we're right by the Funko booth. We're right by the Wacom booth for those of you. So yeah, we'd love to see you if you are coming to the show. Please come by.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you. And then you get involved in these giveaways that we're doing only here at the show. Okay? So I'll be seeing you guys later. You guys got Joseph Drust for the rest of the time here. So again, I'm gonna now step out, and he's gonna jump on and get his headset on and get going here. We'll be seeing you.
Alright, I'm back. So we're getting the chat stuff together here, so I'm going to give that a minute here, and we should get you guys on the stream. Should be able to see my screen. I have a gigantic behind me as well. So as Paul said, we are coming live from Comic-Con here, and it's pretty chaos right now. Like, we have a bunch of people in front of our booth. They're streaming up and down the aisles over here. Too close? Too close? Alright, we're fixing the mics. Fixing the mics. That's what happens. So all sorts of crazy stuff. Alright. Still getting work done here. There we go. That's probably better. All right. So I'm gonna go through and just do some stuff, and then when we get the chat up here, I can probably take requests and just go from there. So I got a bunch of different items here, like I've been messing with. So this is a quick Reinhardt helmet. I had some of these printed out on the Ultimaker, so an Ultimaker 3, and we did these and kind of finished them off. So I got a few of these guys here at the booth you can come and look at. So this is kind of related to cosplay type information and things. So I know you guys have probably seen the Cybermen from the Halloween stuff. So here we have another one, which is just the Reinhardt model here. And then we've got things like Kylo Ren's helmet. And little known fact here too, but the original one was all done in ZBrush as well. So there's a whole thread on ZBrush Central with the actual artist that worked on the Kylo Ren helmet and how he created it inside of ZBrush. So that's on ZBrush Central, you can find that. So really cool stuff. So even in terms of large scale movies, ZBrush is often used to generate the different parts. So I'm going to start making kind of a helmet here. So I can show you the Cyberman one too. And these are printed in kind of multiple parts here. So these are all the different ones I did for this. And then what we did was just print them out. So I have this mannequin base here. And then this is sized. So I actually went through and created a mannequin base and added size. So this ends up being my base mesh for when I start sculpting on things. And I can take these and then start generating my parts. So one here, I'm gonna kind of go through quickly on how I go kind of create these things. I'm just gonna go through and do kind of a Magneto. So not really the new Magneto, but it's kind of the older Magneto. So more of the style of his kind of stuff. And I'm chatless here. So if you guys are commenting, should have a chat here. Paul's currently over here being busy. So I'm just gonna sculpt away and then I'll get chatted up and then I can see what you guys are asking. And we can go through and kind of tailor some stuff to what you guys are looking at. But it's more just all these demos we're gonna be doing here this week are focused on kind of just showing the workflows inside of ZBrush and just showing ZBrush in use at Comic-Con here. And as Paul was saying earlier, that we may have people come up and be talking to them as well. Or we may find people we can drag over that are ZBrush artists and you can say hi to them on camera as well. So I'll load this file in here quick. So this is my base kind of starter that I end up using. So I have a few different things here. So this is set to size. So I have an inch cube that kind of shows you the scale of this. And then using Scale Master, I've gone through and sized this all correctly. So whatever I export out of this scene, it's going to end up exporting out the right scale. And this is your average kind of head scale. So if you have a really big head, you'd end up needing to resize some of this stuff. But for starting off a lot of this, you can just use pretty much anything here in terms of size. And then with my default head, what I did was I came through and I made a base basically. And to test this, I went through and, instead of just 3D printing it all out, I actually printed out a paper. So I took the strips here that this part creates, and I generated UVs on this mesh. And then with that, I did like an unwrap, and then I took those and printed them out at 1:1 scale. And then I could put it together, just paper, which is a lot cheaper than PLA or ABS. And you can make sure that size is where it needs to be. And then I've taken that model and created a version of it that is at a pretty low res Dynamesh. And so this would be the interior part of the helmet. And at this stage you have a lot of different options you can do to start start generating these things. One of the ways that's pretty cool is I can start using booleans and kind of offset parts and use the intersect option here, and this will go through and allow me to get a certain thickness across the mesh. So for this process, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to first just duplicate my little base here. So I'm going to make 2 of these. So first one and a second one. And with the second one, I want to give it thickness. So for say a Magneto helmet, I would want it pretty much thicker off the base helmet. So I've got the head here, and this will just fit that head, but then it needs to have a certain thickness to it. So something around 10 millimeters is usually pretty good, I find. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to mask part of this out. So I'm going to use a mask brush here. Just mask this. And after I have this masked, I'm going to use one of the plugins you can get on the Pixologic Download Center, and this would be the ZCNC plugin, or you can also use Ringmaster. And this plugin is usually used for jewelry, but there is this process here that will allow you to create thickness based on masking. So I'm going to run this one here and just set my masking to 10 millimeters, and then I'm going to change that masking to geometry. This is going to use the scale I have, and now it's going to give me a new mesh that's at that 10 millimeters. So this is 10 millimeters from the surface of that original model. And so now that I have this as a 10 millimeter version, what I can do is I can now hide my original there. I can set this to intersect, and I can turn on my original base here, and I turn on the Boolean system. I just want to size down my base just a little bit because I've got geometry right now that's sitting on top of each other, so I'm getting this rendering version here, but if I scale it down just slightly, I can get that, or if I scale up the other way, you'll see it's going to grow in and out. And what is happening right now is that I have my base, and then I have my extract that's set at that 10 millimeters. And so whatever I sculpt here, it's only going to show 10 millimeters of it. So currently this entire base is inside that 10 millimeters. So it's not going to show anything. However, if I have it selected and I have this extract on, when I come through and say take the clay build-up brush here, and I turn my polyframes, so I can kind of see where I am here on my model. And if I take that brush and I start sculpting, you're going to see it's going to start showing where I'm sculpting. And if I keep pulling this and get that sculpting effect really large, it's going to clip. So it's looking at this now as that Boolean intersection. So it's only going to give me the heart of that intersection. So if I set this as a start and say turn on the mannequin head, now I can start sculpting, and I'm sculpting on the part that's clipped out. And this is now going to allow me to sculpt at that thickness to that area of the helmet. So this is pretty cool in a ways of creating, because what I'm doing is I'm sculpting on basically an invisible part of my model. And I'm using the Boolean system here to allow me to attain this functionality. So wherever I go, it's going to sculpt and it's going to keep that same level. So this is all going to be 10 millimeters. At this stage, I'm just sculpting on this other mesh, so I can smooth this out. I can actually carve in holes too, so I can start cutting in, and then as soon as it breaks that 10 millimeter, you're going to see it's going to go away. So this is a cool functionality you can do to kind of mock in shapes for helmets, and you can keep layering this up too. So if I find that I like this area to be 10 millimeters, but then I need another area on top of it, I can duplicate it and just keep adding these kind of intersecting shapes here. And as long as the part falls into that intersection, it's going to give you this functionality. So I'm coming in and sculpting around these parts, and now it's giving me this. And then if I want to bridge this and come and add this up. And I'm going to yell at Paul here in a second to see if I get my comments going here, because you may have some questions on this, because this is where my brain goes when I get inside of ZBrush. I start, playing with the random stuff and try to think of interesting ways to kind of generate effects I want. And this one I find is pretty cool, because just using the Boolean system here to kind of come through and mess with the parts there. So it's pretty interesting. So here, let me go yell at Paul quick and see where my chat is. And then we'll see if we can answer. See if you guys have any questions. If anyone's asleep yet. And then we'll go from there. So give me 1 second here. Nisbet, you got the chat? Anyone got chat? Nothing?
We only got one iPad.
So we got nothing else. Can you get the chat on my phone? Technical difficulties. There we go. Kyle, just put on here. All right, so we're getting some chat back. All right, so this is one way you can go through and start generating your forms on your helmet. And once again, this is going to be clipped to whatever this extract was. So if I come over here, and you can see turn this on solo, this is the extract. So I wouldn't be able to pull out a lot of the shapes with this process past that point. So if I come over here and try to say move this down, you're going to see it's going to start taking the shape of that one beneath it. So you want to make sure that when you do this process that your initial extract or Boolean part there is what you want it for the final helmet, or at least the engulfing shape size, and then you can come in and start customizing it to get it where you want. So that's one cool thing there with the Boolean and that. And there, I should have chat here in a minute before I move on to my next little way that I use to kind of do this stuff. But this one's pretty fun because it's really easy to control as long as you're on the right subtool. And you can chip away and add to it. And if you add Sculptress Pro in the mix too, it adds another level to it. So then you can actually use Sculptress Pro with this part and start designing your stuff. And it's all going to be at the right millimeters, so no matter where you cut in or cut out, it's going to pertain the right way. And you can always add another part to it too, so if we want intersection stuff. All sorts of random stuff. All right, so the other way I'll go through and do is, let's go ahead and open this back up. This way doesn't have as much magic behind it, but it's still a viable way to do things. So I'll load this file here. And there's a ton of people walking around right now at Comic-Con. Lots of bags. I think tomorrow is when all the people are going to come out in costume. This is just the preview night aspect here. There's a lot of people that are going to panel discussions and other things, trying to find information on new things that are coming out in different medias. So the other way is your more kind of tried and true way. So you start with my base panel loop here. Alright, I think I got chat now. So as long as my phone stays on, we're going to be good. And so this is your other way. You can do it with masking. So if you have your base here, you can start trimming out how this wants to be. And then you just simply come through, and if I have my masking brush here selected, come through and start masking stuff out. Now your mask resolution is going to be based on what you currently have topology-wise. So if I turn on my polyframes here, you can see I got a decent amount. This was just a Dynameshed version of the model here. So at this stage, I'm not looking for a real high-resolution aspect. I just kind of want enough of the form to come through. So I can that, and I can actually flip this out. I'm going to render this out. So I'm just describing the forms here. So we're going to do a little Magneto type helmet here. So doing some masking, unmasking. And one thing nice about this way is still working off this panel loop base is that the thickness and stuff still should stay the same. So as I modify this should work around. And since this is a second subtool, if I turn on my mannequin head here and activate transparency, I can kind of see how it's going to fall on the model too. And with transparency, you can activate ghost as well. You kind of see how it's going to fall on the mesh. You can tailor this. And this is more just in the masking stage here. So you're not looking for this to be a final type thing, because right now, Magneto's head isn't as bulbous as this on the side, so you'd want to kind of pull that in. But just for the base shape and form, you just come through and scrub this out real quick with just masking. And after you have your mask set up how you want, it's got some of the jaggies around it. And this is because basically I'm at a low resolution here. But what I can do now is I can convert the masking to edge looping. And when you do that, it's going to take that edge looping and it's going to convert it into a nice smooth poly group. So I can go to the edge loop area here, and I can do this edge loop mask border. So it's going to look at the masking and turn it into poly loops. So you can see it's done this. And then if I clear this and then hold Control and Shift, I can isolate that part. And you can see now I have this different polygroup for my area. And after I have this polygroup created, I can hide the part of the mesh that I don't need. So I may still want to keep this as a sculptural mode, so I'm just going to duplicate this, and then on my original one here, I'm just going to go back a few undos here to get back to the version here. Let me find the right one here. Before the polygrouping, just the masking, so I can come through and add this again if needed. And then I have my polygroup version. And then with this one, I'm going to go through and I'm going to hide the parts that's not the helmet. I'm just going to go ahead and delete those. Just go to the geometry tab. Just delete the hidden on that. And then now I want to use the panel loops option. This is also in the geometry palette. And the panel loop option is going to look at the polygroups on your mesh, and it's going to give you loops around those different edges there. So now I can take these and add some panel loops here. Now, oftentimes you may want to see what the different panel loops are going to do. So this one, if I hit it once, I'm going to get it this way. So it's a little bit too thin, so I'm going to need to increase that. So let's see if I can pipe it up to like 0.5. Ooh, too much. 0.05. There we go. So that's pretty good. You can also control how many groups are going to get generated in between. So right now I have a bunch of loops in there, so I'm just going to keep those. That looks pretty good. And now I have this as my helmet. So I can turn back on my mannequin head here. And now at this stage, what I've done is just simple masking to create my base shape. And now I can start deforming this. So the shape's obviously not right down here, just a little too far off. I'm turning transparent to see how it's fitting the mannequin head here. And so I can switch to, say, the move brush. Make sure I got symmetry on. And come in and start tailoring this out. And just kind of massaging the forms here. And so the purpose of this would be for, say, cosplay, so Halloween costumes. And once again, if you don't have access to, say, a 3D printer, you can also do stuff with just paper as well, which is actually pretty interesting. So you can use ZBrush and unwrap it, and then there's a few programs that'll take your patterns and turn them into paper. And then you can combine those together, and then paper is actually pretty magical for making helmets and stuff, because you can actually take it and cover it in whatever you want. Covered in this stuff called Mod Podge. There's also, you can cover it in plastic, and after you cover it in plastic, or even say resin, and you have that generated, you can then finish that surface however you want it. So you don't have to have expensive technology to kind of get the same result. Now, we'll take you a little bit longer to clean up some of the paper stuff, but if you coat it in plastic, it actually gives you a really nice surface. You can go through and do it. How you doing? Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the model. And then that one was finished out, so it was done in fiberglass and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. So, anything exciting you've seen here yet? Huh? Anything exciting you've seen?
Besides you guys? So I just walked around, saw this, I got to mess around with ZBrush. And I don't know, just watching him, it seemed like I was on the right path.
Did you get you guys did you do the got a pin? Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Seems like I'm on the right path. One thing I probably do now is I take the base model character and I dub it like a duplicate.
Yeah.
And then I just shrink it and then I just build on top of that.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah. Okay. No, it's all the same. Yeah, and then all the stuff it all goes down to like a mesh eventually. So you can do whatever you want. That's one of the good things is whatever you want to do, if it gives you the results you want, that's all it is.
Do you use ZBrush a lot to do stuff, or so you just do it straight through that?
Yeah, I'll do all sorts of stuff. So this, after I sculpt something like this, I'll go through and I'll ZBrush it to get the topology, and then I'll get it lower, and then I can build on that and change it. So yeah, so all this stuff was all done with ZModeler and ZBrush and things like that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm on the right path. If this comes to mind, I definitely would pick you guys' brain.
Yeah, anytime.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
I've learned so much.
Well, I'm glad to know it helps. So, you too. Have a good show. All right, so you guys are out there in live stream land there. I've got chat now at this series. Let's see if it works.
I trade you.
Excellent. Look at that. Look at that. A mass adventure just gave me a Kit Kat.
Might have shown up. I don't think I was there before this.
All right, let's see. Maybe that would work. You may be able to see me there. All right, we're gonna get back. We got a little picture-in-picture. So once again, we are live from Comic-Con here in San Diego. And so I started messing with a Magneto helmet here. So something really quick, then kind of sculpt out. Magneto's helmets aren't too crazy. I'm more the comic book style of Magneto as well, so I'm not really a huge fan of the I guess I still like it, but you know, it's not the one I kind of grew up with. So I'm more the older type variant there from the childhood era. So just massaging some of the forms here, and so this mannequin head has some angle on the back too. So we're gonna come through and customize this a little bit. And right now, this is still just the panel loop geometries. I haven't changed anything really too much. And so for this helmet, I want to kind of pull out these sides too, a little bit coming in. This is the nice thing about this kind of workflow is it's very forgiving. So at any point, I can smooth it out. I can also run the polish by groups on the items as well, and get those different things going. So I'm gonna run that on there, kind of smooth this up real quick. So I come down here and we have a polish by groups. And since I used panel loops, I had some Sculptors Pro on here. So we're gonna do a quick Z-remesher on this as well. Actually, I'm gonna undo this to get it back to my panel loop version here. We're going through colors. Actually, I don't know what happened to my colors. I done lost it. All right, we're Z-remeshing. I got distracted. Too much Comic-Con. There we go. So now I got this. Now I should have some loops through here, but I don't know if it's exactly where I want to be here. Let's see what happened to my undos. Let's see what happened here. Undos are acting crazy. Let's see what we got here. There we go. There's my loops back. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Yeah, and if you guys are at Comic-Con, definitely come on by. We are here at the Pixologic booth. We've got swag, we've got all sorts of stuff here. Our Wi-Fi is a little bit spotty on our connection here. San Diego is just chaos. So many people. And so you see how rough this is in certain spots, and we're not really concerned about that. I'm just trying to get the forms out of here, because this will go through a bunch of polishing phases and zero meshing and things like that, but it's more just the tweaking. And if I polish by groups, you can see I'm get it right back down to where it was. And so I need these to be a little more pinched as well. So I'm just going to pull these out and play with these some. And he's got these little very sharp things that are usually right here. Right? So I'm going to start pulling those up. We're going to see how quick we get through this guy, and then we're going to go and jump to something else too. So that may have been a little too much polish there. I think my keyboard's got something going on here. Still not liking the back. This is the part you get to see, what's going on here? Keyboard. Technical difficulties. No one wants lumpy Magneto, that's for sure. So you think a lot of this is magic, but a lot of it just ends up being me doing this. These are the parts I don't show you guys usually.
How's it going, guys? Good. Got any questions?
Still got some stuff going on here with this helmet. There we go. Okay, let's see. We got Daisuke in here. Daisuke. So Daisuke's over in Japan. And he's been doing an excellent job going through and translating a lot of the ZBrushLIVE stuff. So there's a lot of cool stuff there. And he does really awesome figurines as well. Still not liking the back of the helmet here. You can mask out or hide the different parts too to get different attributes for this. Something is definitely up with something here. You may be doing a restart here in a second because I'm losing my. So let's go back in time here and save this out. Do a quick reset here. Preview night tonight here at Comic-Con. Let's fix this up here. You guys get the nice ZBrush background here for a second. Check the chat. Check the chat. Wait for it. Wait for it. So do you think Comic-Con Kit Kats are suspicious? should I trust the Comic-Con Kit Kat? What do you guys think? So if you guys ever started ZBrush and you wanted to do that, I just rushed through this. But basically, you can save your startup documents and also what is going on here? Alright, so yeah, if you want to start up ZBrush, I would always start with a particular color background and then have it sized to the full screen. You can come through and just double click it. This will load this in. And then up here you have the option to do a new document, and this will do a new document at that size, and then you can save it as startup right there. And then for the material now, you can pick any material, and you can do that save as startup material, and that will now save it too. So next time you start ZBrush, it would end up being like this. So a little trick there for that. And then let me find my file here. Wait for it. Wait for it. So we're gonna jump ahead a little bit here, because no one wants me to see me massage a helmet for a while. Yeah, I don't think I'd eat the free candy either. I'm gonna go with suspicious as well. So does it sound like I'm in a wind tunnel? It's kind of like I'm in a wind tunnel. Comic-Con wind tunnel. All right, so here we've migrated to the massaged version of the helmet here. So this one ended up with more of the curvature I was kind of going for here. And I've ran this through the ZBrush as well. So this is the initial one here, and if I clear my masking, This is what I ended up with. As you can see, it was kind of lumpy. And then I Z-remeshed it again. And now I end up with this. So this is actually giving me more of the surface. And at this stage, you can do quite a few things. So I can activate dynamic subdivision. This is going to smooth this out. I can even come through and say crease by those polygroups. And come over here and use the crease polygon ring. And that's going to come through. And now when I apply dynamic, it's going to look at those. And I can change my crease level if I want. So now I have those harsh areas there. And this isn't going to allow me to see where the noises are on the helmet as well. And one material that does help is switching to, say, red wax, because you can kind of see the surface quality with this material there. You can see how it falls off. I don't know if you guys can see this in stream, but it's easier to kind of see where there might be anomalies in the surface and it's not smooth. Some of the other ones that work really good, like the metals, so you can kind of see some lumps in different surfaces. And basically for these, I want to smooth them out. So there's two smoothing operations you can have inside of ZBrush. So the first one, if I just come in and do this, we'll turn off dynamic here. My undos, I think I got keyboard issues. I think that's what's going on here. I have to fix this. Joe Manna came over and stole my keyboard. So there's two different smoothings, and we can just do a quick thing on this if you guys aren't aware of this. So you have your normal smooth, so if you just hold down shift and smooth, this will just smooth it out. And then you have an alternate smooth, which is the alt polish smooth. So if you hold down shift and start smoothing, and then release shift, you'll end up going into a polish. And this is going to allow you to polish the surface out. So if you have pins or anything like this top part here, if you sculpt on this and try to smooth, you see how it's not going to give you exactly what you want. But if you come in and start polishing and then release, you're going to be able to polish smooth this out, and that's going to end up clearing those up. So that's a little thing there. There's two modes of smoothing inside of ZBrush that you can use to get that stuff polished out. And so for my panel loop base here, after I have the main stuff kind of established, I'm always going to add deformation and polish by groups to smooth things out and see how that looks. If you don't like it, you can always undo it. And also polish by crisp edges will sometimes get some nice results. So that's going to get you more of that smoother surface. And then after you're happy with the surface, I think my keyboard switched languages. That's what happened here. Which is one of those things I don't think I've ever had happen. Yeah, it definitely switched languages. I gotta figure out how to get my language back. I'm gonna yell at Paul here in a minute. And you guys can hear the noise coming through here, it appears. I'm getting messages about the wind tunnel effect. We're in the flood of Comic-Con. There's a lot of people wearing bags, coming around, trying to grab all the freebies at every single booth. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to convert the dynamic. So I'm just going to apply it. I'm just going to take the dynamic subdivision I had, and now I'm going to get traditional subdivisions. And with these, I can scroll up and down. So if I want to modify stuff, I can modify it, and then it'll still keep my high resolution effects. So for Magneto here, he's got some stuff that goes around his... Oh man, I'm going to have to switch his keyboard. Hold on, one sec. We're going D-Live for a minute. Kyle. Do you know how to fix a keyboard? I think I'm in a different language.
Open it up. 1 second.
Oh, here we go. I think I found it, yeah. After I thought about it. Oh, there we go. We're back. We're back. Oh man. So somehow I switched my keyboard to French. And yeah, that wasn't working. So we're back now. No longer French. This will help out. All right, so I'm gonna just polish this one more time to get through some of these anomalies out here. This is some little areas that are being a little crazy. So holding shift to smooth and then moving it out. And then there we go. Now we're back in business. Now I can fix these things. So now I can get back to where I was doing. So this is just moving the different surfaces to try to get those different points figured out on his helmet there. I don't want these going up in his nose, but you know, just around there. Just to block out all those telepathic things. Got a little edging there. This is where it's nice to kind of go down to the lower level of well, go up and down. And then the clay buildup brush and also the clay brush are go-tos as well. So I got some areas here that are not conforming to the standards here that I want. So I'm going to edge polish those in. When I start H polish, my voice always goes into H polish brush mode. It becomes very soft. If you're ever smoothing wrinkles and things too, you can switch your brush mode to directional. That helps a lot in terms of smoothing. Go with that. And then I would duplicate my tools a lot. Just instead of saving them, I'll duplicate them out. And then now I can come in and start masking things out and then pull those up. And you can take multiple subtools and combine them together. And this is going to give you a lot more flexibility in what you're doing. So he's got these little like wing feather things here. Goes around. I don't really want it on the edge in the middle here, so I should have a poly grip here. Oh, maybe not anymore. I can blur that out. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good.
Masking off your area there?
Yeah, I'm gonna do an extract and pull out the stuff. Doing a little quick.
Comic book artist?
I do this.
Okay.
Yeah, so video games for a while, and then I work for Pixologic now, so I do all sorts of things. So things like this, things like that helmet, pretty much all sorts of stuff that pops in my head. No, but we used.
It's like so freestyle. You have no corporate like entity telling you what you can do. You can just kind of go nuts with it, right? It's good stuff.
We do some freelance stuff too here and there, and that's where you get the corporate entities back in. And they're like, you need to be like this. So yeah. But it's fun to just be able to just kind of sculpt for a while and do your own tucks on things. Yeah. Do you use ZBrush at all?
I just barely started using it. I'm actually an industrial designer. I design tools.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I started just going into stuff like this to basically span my career horizons.
Yeah. So what were you using before for creation?
I just use SolidWorks, so I'm like super basic, like no organic shape.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough to make like a good organic shape in that. So I'm kind of just diving into it now. So it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, we have a lot of users that end up with SolidWorks where they'll take their SolidWorks files, bring them in, and then sculpt on them. So you have like your dimensions set up and everything you need in SolidWorks, and then you can bring it in, it'll convert it from a mesh, or go from the T-splines to the mesh, and then you can sculpt and do whatever you want. And then at that point, you can go straight to print if need to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it opens a lot of stuff, especially in terms of like designing stuff and creative things, like those little you remember I think they're called mad balls or whatever. We had like the balls with like the creatures on them, holding them, all sorts of things like that. So it's those things you just can't do, with NURBS and splines. It's very hard. So
I love this shit, right? Especially like design stuff. It's like, it reminds me of Illustrator. When I first learned Illustrator, it's like I hated it, but then at some point I loved it, and it's kind of like that.
It's kind of like that, yeah. I can feel that. Yep. I'm still in a love-hate relationship with Illustrator.
The user interface is very non-intuitive, just because it's totally different other than everything I know. beyond that, it's a really
Well, make sure you, I don't know if we're doing a bunch of giveaways too, so we have these pins, and basically you just need to like take a picture of the pin and post online, and then we're giving away full copies of ZBrush. We're giving away all sorts of different things throughout the week here. So there's all sorts of giveaways and stuff we're doing. Wacom just released a new device as well, and so we're giving away one of those too. So it's actually one of the ones that's over there. Yeah, but so they have a new product line coming out, so we've got one of them here that we're giving away. We got some Funko stuff that's coming through as well. So all sorts of stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was nice talking to you. What's your name?
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jason.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
Nice to meet you too. Can I take one of these two? It's cool.
Sure, yeah. Back to my Magneto here.
Now you gotta start taking photos too.
So these are one more area in here. I don't want these pinched parts, so I kind of want to flatten these out. And to do this, I'll go in and do like inverse masking. So I'll mask one way and then inverse mask. And the premise for this is that it's sometimes easier to make a shape like this positive, but if I want this harsh, doing the invert mask is going to give me a harsher line. So I'll go through and do both of those kind of processes, masking and inverse masking. And I can clean all these up eventually as well, but I just want to get the kind of style here with that. This here either, so I'm going to cut this off. Because basically I don't want these points in there because they're going to be a pain to clean up. And you can bring in all sorts of stuff as your base meshes. There we go, look at that, win plus spacebar. A little bit delayed on the chat, sorry you guys. Thank you for the assistance though, I appreciate it. And I think somewhere away I lost my color grouping here. I'm going to blame it on the French keyboard incident. So I'm going to go back in and unmask my edges here. This is the long way of doing it. The unpreferred method. Because I had them already set up nice with that polygroup on that mask there. And so the intention would have been that I could just come through and just select the outer part, clear the mask, and then that would only affect that inner radius there. I don't know what Control Z was mapped to on a French keyboard. Or Control Z, yeah, because it's not undo. Another way you can check for masking stuff, if you blur it, you can do that out too. And this, I just want the edges. Because I'm going to use that same item that's in the Ringmaster plugin that will come through, and you can use the masking to extract to a certain thickness. So say like 2 millimeters is probably what I want on that outer edge. Add some other stuff in here. I may just end up going and start cleaning this out too. Now you'll see that some of the masking is going through the mesh here, and that's because I don't have my back facing turned off. So you can see as I'm erasing and removing some of this. So if you hold down Control, you'll get the properties for the masking brush. And then you have a auto masking area here, and you turn on back face masking. And now when you mask with painting, it's not going to go through that surface. So I can harshen this up. And then after I have this done, I'm going to do that same extract process again. So I'm going to go into my Ringmaster plugin here, manual processes. I'm going to do it at, let's do it 3 millimeters, looks like. See, it's a little bit messy because I had those masking areas. But we can clean that up too. So first, with all these islands, you can see I have these inner islands and these outer islands. So I want to isolate just the outers as well. So I'm going to hit Control Shift and grab that, and then hit Control Shift A. And you can see there's quite a few that are still connected here. So I need to go through and try to do a polygroups, auto groups here. And this will go through and look at all those islands. And when it does this, it's now going to segregate some of those things out. So now if I do that, you can see I'm just going to be left with this. So that's a lot nicer there. And then I can clean these out. Go back to this. And then I have those polygroups there that are still established. Well, they were. I'm going to come in and smooth these out. And then one interesting thing too with ZBrush, at least when I use it, is that sometimes I don't always choose the best way, but because there's multiple ways to do things inside of ZBrush. That's one of the nice things about it. So if you have to make, say, like 1,000 civilian characters, and they're all the same civilian character, you don't have to do the process the same way every time. You can come in and kind of vary it up, make it a little more interesting for yourself. Sculptors Pro is also awesome at this stage, because then come in and actually remove those things out, edge polish stuff away. We're getting my version of Magneto here tonight. He's smooth, but not smooth, but not smooth. Snake Hook's another fun brush to use with there. Now for some of these things, you can see they're still a little rough, so I'm going to switch to another smoothing brush. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. We're going to do the smooth directional as another go-to. And this one smooths by the way your brush stroke is. So if I want to just smooth out this, I can do this. It's going to help me get that curve a little bit smoother. I'm still using Sculptors Pro on that, so you can turn that on off as needed. And I can smooth out this area here. And at this stage, I'm probably going to ZBrush just one more time to get that cleared out. Remove these. If you have a 100% exact idea, one thing that's funny I find in doing stuff is that the first time I'll do it, if I redid the entire thing, it would take me 2 seconds, but the first time is usually the longer the time. So that's why one thing is to be said about redoing assets. The more you do them, definitely, the better they'll get each time. And for something like this, the intent would be for cosplay. So I had a little part that was getting a little bit too thin, so I just H-polished that back out. You can see I'm still using the smooth directional, and you can see how much better it is at smoothing these edges now. And you can always switch to the polish too. And so it's going to take all these rough things out pretty quick. You'll see me switch through different brushes with hotkeys. So the move brush is one of the go-tos I use. There's a lot of ZBrushes in ZBrush. I don't end up using all of them. Some are good. Some of the ones that I fit. And it kind of mimics art as well. So if you are an artist, you may only have like 4 or 5 brushes to use. How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
Just admiring your print.
Thank you. Yeah, this is finished would end up looking more like this. So the idea behind this is that, so we are a 3D software company and we do a sculptor package. And so basically for cosplay, you can go and generate it.
We can skip way ahead. I know ZBrush.
Excellent.
And I 3D print myself.
Excellent.
I was actually looking at this, and I was going to say you should print that at a 0.1.
Exactly. Yeah. So this was done. Ultimaker. This was done on one of their newer, larger machines, the S5.
Yeah.
And
what's the build size on the S5?
Oh man, I want to say 20 by 15 maybe. It's not much bigger than the S3, but with it too, we sent this to Ultimaker and they printed these parts out and sent it to it.
Yeah.
But these were done through Cura, I think, and yeah, this totally has some things. But that one, we have some other things over there that were done on, say, MakerBots and other things as well. There's some color 3D printing down there too you should look at, and that's one of the new printers that prints in full color and it looks awesome. And Funko's been using it for pretty much everything. So, but yeah, this would there'd be a lot of sanding.
Well, that's what I'm saying is if you print it at a lower resolution,
Yeah, it would clear it up.
Pyramid like that, and it's less sanding.
Yeah. We were running low on time for what they were doing. So
Totally good.
yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot, man.
So doing more polishing here, bringing the surfaces down. One thing interesting about 3D printing too, depending on what you are sending the model to, if you ever download some stuff online that may have been done with like CAD applications, and you open them up, you can see that there's a lot of striations usually, and sometimes topology isn't all that great. But 3D printing, if you're not printing at really high resolutions, will sometimes ignore that. So if you look at something that's really setted, when you print it out, you kind of ignore some of that. So you don't have to be like super crazy with the detail in there. So this, these are getting a little bit too thick here, so I may start massaging those down a little bit more. And these are a little bit not thick enough. This is where a lot of tweaking would come back into play. Make sure I also don't have dynamic subdivision on here. And I'm going to reset my move brush here. So if you ever mess up a bunch of your brushes, you can go in and reset them really quick too, which is very helpful. My move brush is giving me ghosting lines I didn't want. If you don't have something that wraps around too, you can actually use the matchmaker brush, and that will go through and get those surfaces kind of lined up to where they're at. These still aren't doing exactly what I want them to do yet. I'm losing some of the magneto quality here. I've got my own direction. Try to pull it back together. I gotta check the chat here in a minute, guys. Sorry about that. Corners and stuff, you'll see I'll do this like weird little bumping. A lot of people use masking too. You follow it up with a pinch as well. I'll come in and pinch those corners a little bit more. So before I go in and massage this for way too long here, fix this. And one other thing too, so after I get the style kind of where I want it, I can merge these together and I can bully them, and then I can change the entire shape of the helmet. This is all going to go with it too. So, because right now I'm working on them just as a separate element here. This actually needs to be up a little bit more. So you can see just the light tapping of the move brush. And then I'm still using the smoothing to kind of smooth those out. And then go back in with, say, H polish. And bring those back down to flat. And oftentimes, you know, you'll get through the quick parts and then you'll spend your time kind of detailing this stuff out and trying to make it hone to more of what you want it to be. So these are still out a little bit too much too. Be more angled. Comic-Con wind tunnel. So I'm going to do this little, like, it almost looks like a little scarab thing on top of this helmet. And this shape's actually, you know, it's a little bit interesting because it's got a harsh edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to make a Q-cube out of this. Get that shape there. And I'm going to pen that into my helmet file here. Expand my cubes here. And so for this, there's a little insignia here that goes on the top, which kind of has wings on it. So first I want to create that kind of angle of it. So I'm just going to take a box and rotate it in 45 degrees. So it's going to give me that shape. And then now I've got this crease, but it's also in like a circular type pattern. So it sometimes has like a rounded shape to it. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab a cylinder 3D. I'm going to initialize this and create something with an inner radius. This. I don't want all those divides. Do this at 16. Like that.
go back to my original part here, put that in. And now with this, I've got a cutter and my original shape here. And so what I can do with the cutter is I can now come across this shape and generate a new one pretty quick with the Boolean system. And so I'm going to first apply a different polygroup to this outside edge with ZBrush. I got my polygroup here. And now I'm going to Q-mesh this in a polygroup island. And when you hold Q-mesh, if you hold it normally, it's going to give you this. If you hold it and hold Shift, it's going to move it. And if you hold it and hold Control, it's going to split it off. So this gives you a little bunch of functionality here you can play with. And then I want to use dynamic subdivisions to generate this part as well. So I'll come down here and crease this quick. And then I'm going to activate dynamic subdivisions. And now with that, I'll set up a Boolean process for this part. So I'll make that a start group, set this to subtractive, turn on live Boolean. And so now I've generated this shape. So this is getting more similar to that kind of scarab part that he has. If you wanted this harsher too, you could definitely change the shape on it. So if I want it more vertical, I'm modifying my cylinder shape here. This is now going to change the shape of that. And as I tailor this up and down, you're going to see I'm able to adjust the shape on the fly too. And I can scale it in and out to make it different size shapes here. And reset this one, scale it in and make it a little bit flatter. That's also going to give me this kind of tapered effect here. And I don't know if I want this rounded or I want it a little angular. So this kind of varies on him often. So you'll have like some that's like really sharp and down. So you get like this angled at the top and then angled at the bottom. A little bit rounded. So I don't know which I'm going to go here. I may end up keeping it like this. And then now I can put this in a new folder. And then now I can generate a Boolean from this folder. And now I have my new part. And so now that I have this new part, move and scale this. And if I didn't mess that up, let's try this again. Let's go back to my center here. My angles are all a mess right now. Hold on. Let's do this one more time. Wait for it. Wait for it. This one's a little bit off of the helmet too. So what I can do is now I can use the Gizmo 3D and go in here to the transform area. And there's a bend arc or bend curve deformer. And with this I can come in and actually bend this. And so you see I don't have a lot of topology in here, so I need to actually dynamesh this first. So I can come in here and say delete that. Now we're going to go geometry. We'll do a crease with the polygroups here, and then we'll try dividing, see what that gives me. So we still got, since I used a quick Boolean process, you can see the topology is like that. So I need to come through and just quickly dynamesh this instead. And we'll start with a low 256, so not quite enough information there. So then we'll go to 512. That'll give us a good estimate there. And now we can go back to that Gizmo 3D, go to that bend arc. And now when we bend this, we're gonna get much better result there on that. And I wanna bump this all the way down to there. So So there we go. This is my version of Magneto. Now for your little swoopy things, he has as well. There's a few ways you can do those. I could use IMM brushes on those. I can also do something with the cylinders again, which is probably what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go through and append that, and then rotate this. Kind of fit it where I want it here. And so what I'm going to do with this is I want my initial shape, and then I'm going to use the Boolean options to tailor this, which is going to give me more of a non-destruction type workflow. So we're going to go to Geometry tab here. I'm going to crease this. Smooth it up a little bit. We're going to append in a sphere. And so with this, now that I just have the sphere here, I can get a lot of play with this. So now I don't have to modify that shape. It's taking me a few seconds to get it. And now I have that design there pushed out. Now this one is still not as crisp as the other one there. So I'm actually going to come through and start pinching some of these edges to get some of that crispness back. It's not matching my horns I just made. So just running the pinch brush along the edges. And now you'll see I still have some lumpy parts on it. And so I want this all to be the same smooth surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my initial shape of the helmet, which is this one here. And we're going to see if we can find the one with the poly grouping. If I have one with poly grouping. I may have lost it.
You're going to be busy for this week if you keep that pace up.
There's going to be a lot. I'll be here for a little while this evening, and then we got some other artists that are coming in and swapping me out, so I won't have to sit here the entire time.
Good.
Yeah. I'll have to stand here, though, but I won't have to sit here.
Yeah, but I mean, you're really covering some ground there and there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so do you know anything about ZBrush?
I never even heard of it.
So we do...
It's a program for creating images.
Well, so it's all 3D assets. So the best way to kind of describe it is that, think of a ball of clay, right?
Yep.
And you can take a sculpting tool, and you can pull it out and push it out, and you can start generating a form around that ball of clay.
Yep.
So we do it in a digital format. So the only thing we've done is pretty much, if you can think about it as the most, basic way. So if I have this,
that's your chunk of clay.
my chunk of clay. And so we have the ability to come through, and first of all, we get symmetry, which is your bonus that you don't have in modeling with clay. So if you model one side of the model and the other one, you got to repeat it. And then we use these devices called Wacom's. And if you press lightly, it gives you a light sculpt. If you press hard, it gives you a hard sculpt. And then you can vary the inner carving. You can also smooth. And this is all your basic principles, right? And so after you have your basics, you can then add and say, you're moving, right? You can start moving stuff out, deforming how it is. You start describing your different shapes. So you want to start doing like...
You could put great breasts on it.
You could, anything. And then we've taken it even a step further, and so we allow you to come through and start manipulating more assets with it. So we have the ability to create brushes that already have these details built in, right? So let's say I want this here to have, you know, these crazy teeth, right? So now I can come across the surface and start drawing those out. Then if I add more resolution to my model and do that same process again, I'm gonna get even a higher detailed version of it. And so you can take these little parts, you can make a few of these things, and now you can start creating your monsters and things.
How many artists use this?
So we were used everywhere. So all the film studios, they're all using us for any of the creatures that come out. Yep. Game studios use it. All these kind of like toys and collectibles. Funko uses us. They do all their Funko models, and they use ZBrush for that. So we're used all over the world for all stuff. Medical uses us. If you have someone that's in a car accident, they'll use ZBrush to reconstruct the facial data.
So what did you study to get?
So I started in games because my background was a game artist, and then I transferred from games to Pixologic, and I've been working with these guys for a while now. But we did all the stuff for all our character models were done in here, and then we transfer the details to a game model, and you run around and try to get as lifelike as possible out of it. So it's really fun to come through and play, and then you have different things that you can do as well. We have other things, brushes that are called like IMM brushes. And these brushes have another series of parts. And so if you want to just create like shapes and forms and silhouettes, you have whole libraries of assets. So if you need a, say, rivet or a fastener, you can come through and just add them wherever you want. And they just come out. And then we have a more like free-flowing mode too, that if we come in and start sculpting, we can start pulling the shapes out. And then we can actually puncture holes into them, establish more stuff out of it. And so you can just see how free and creative you can get. And then my brain works in like more of a shape finding type way. So I'll look at things and see something in them, and then I can elaborate on them and keep going.
Reminds me of LSD.
Yeah, so it's fun to play with.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah, nice meeting you. All right, I got sidetracked. You guys still there? You sleeping? Am I unplugged? I may be in full camera mode now. So there you go, that was a 2-second doodle. Comic-Con, people, Comic-Con. Let's go back to my Magneto helmet here. So my plan was that with the helmet here, so it has 2 different layers of stuff here. And so what I want to do is, right now this is not evenly symmetrical all the way through it. So the problem would be here is that I want this embedded, and I wanted a certain thickness off the surface. And so I was going to use the Boolean system again to go through and add another version which had the thickness on it, and then I come in and change that and get to kind of describe the different shapes. But I lost my polygrouping with the French keyboard incident. Switched the mode and it went crazy. So the manual masking mode is not what I want to do right now. So instead I probably end up at this point redoing this part to get what I wanted out of it. But we're just going to forge ahead, and we're going to work on creating this into a solid mesh here. So oftentimes for 3D printing, your main concerns is keeping things solid. And with things like this, since this is a separate tool, and if I turn this on, you can see I may have some gaps or stuff that will come in here, since this is a very sliver part of the model here. And so I want this to all be joined together, so when I cut this up or slice it, that doesn't create holes to the surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start embedding some of the material in here. And to fix this, one way that I'll end up using is I'll come through and start pulling the underlying structure into that form to seal it off, and then I can check back through it. So for this one here, I'm going to go and just start that. I'm going to switch to my helmet and duplicate that guy. I don't want to get these all together, so I'm going to take alt-click to select my parts and just move them down. This one's still in a Boolean asset here, so I need to first convert this as well. So I'm going to do a new folder here. Label that horn. Take those two and this, and we're gonna merge all these together. And give me that new shape there. It should be these two parts. I can merge these together. So I got that. And then we're gonna go to my helmet part here. And I just wanna push up some of this geometry through here. Let's go this Pro. And so pulling this through, it's another way you can create crazy details. So this is the intersection functionality here. So I'm actually pulling the surface of the one model out, and it's going to collide with that one in front of it. I can add some more details to this. And so this is pretty cool for, say, let's do this here. Let's do some squiggles. I love some squiggles.
You're prepping all this to then print on a 3D printer?
Yep. Yeah, so for the stuff like this, so if you say cosplay, right?
Yeah.
So we can design it all digitally, and then if you have access to a printer, you can print it out, and then you finish it, and there's your cosplay.
Depending on what kind of 3D printer it is,
Correct.
It'll give you the file.
Yep, and you can print it on anything. Yep. So we do.
So you're selling your software.
Yeah. So we are a digital sculpting package. We're used in everything. So film, movies, game, TV. If you've seen anything on screen, especially if it's a monster or something.
Like a 3D printer or whatever, if you get an image or whatever, you gotta slice it, do all the shit before it goes to the printer. Does you have to?
So the slicing applications are usually at the end point. They're usually
It's not
per.
part of this.
No, it's usually per printer is what that is, and they usually have proprietary software they have that slices it up. So the slicer will come through. This part is this part here, 100% generated in our software, and then it's sent to the program that bridges our software to the printer.
Okay.
And all that does.
Maybe one easier way to. Okay.
No, because when it gets down to we can do the keying and everything else in our software. So this was all keyed out in here, but for the slicing itself, it's right in the G code to dump to the printer. You got to go through everything, and that's just for every printer. But there's
What platform is this available on?
we do Windows and OS X.
No Linux.
No Linux.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, make sure we're giving stuff away too. So if you take one of these badges here, we're giving stuff away. We're giving licensed copies of the software away over the show. And so basically the instructions are on the back here. So if you just take one of these pins, take a picture of it somewhere in Comic-Con, and then post it to your Instagram account or Twitter. Yep. And then well go through and pick. So yeah.
All right, I appreciate it. So just make sure the pin is on you.
That's right.
Thanks.
All right, so I don't know where I'm at now. Uh-oh. I'm unplugging stuff here. Destroying things, breaking stuff. All right, so I'm gonna turn this into a solid mesh. I'm gonna see how messy this is. So I'm gonna come through and just take this. And we're just gonna go ahead and we're just gonna do a merge visible on this. So I've got some different parts here. So I've got this one here that I don't really need anymore. Turn that off. I'm gonna make sure that my dynamics are not on or off at the time. So we got that. That looks good. That looks good. We're just gonna merge visible on this, and then we're gonna pen it back in as its own self. If I can get the base with it. No one wants the base with it. So let's get rid of that real quick. I'm gonna pen that in. And at this stage, what I've got is my entire thing here, and this may not be fully watertight. So I can run a Boolean process on it. Let me do this remesh by union. This is going to go through and remesh the entire surface. And then now we accept. And it's gone through and it's welded the connecting points. So it should have gone through and got any of the areas where they're connecting. Now I can recheck this as well by coming down here and doing polygroups. Doing that auto group process. Apply lines on and fill off. And should now all come back as one polygroup. So that's looking good there. And then with this I can check to see if there's any holes in it as well. By adding a cube here. Setting this to subtractive. And then moving it through the surface. And this will allow me to come through and check the hollowing So you can see the tip of this edge here isn't really adhered to that surface. So I need to fix that. I've got a gap through here as well. It's kind of coming up. So I can check where that intersection happens. Now, if I had that still saved as a poly group, I could have pulled it back in really easily and gotten that thickness back in and then embedded it through. But you can see I have some areas here that are going to be pockets of geometry, which I don't want. So I need to go back and fix those. To fix these, it's not too bad. So one thing we do is I can generate a low-res Dynamesh and then project back to that. So that's a good process here. So we'll duplicate this and then generate a Dynamesh at a lower resolution. And when you generate a lower resolution, what it's going to do, it's going to go through and fill out a lot of those holes. So a lot of those things now are all closed up, right? But now it's low. So what I want to do is I want to divide this. And then I'm going to project back that original one, 0.1 projection there, and then another model. Project this. Keep forgetting to check my comments. We had a little device set up. Doing it live. Wait for it. Wait for it. So here's what I got off of that. Now if I go to the side here, you can see those pockets are no longer there anymore. And I can smooth them out if I want. Let's see what they're doing there. I think I just might have activated French keyboard mode again. Let's see here. No, we're still in English. So see, I got some issues up here. So I don't really want this, so I want to come through and fix some of this stuff out. And so once again, with the smoothing operations here, you can see that I'm not cleaning these up as well as I should be. So I'm going to switch it back to that smooth directional, and that's going to help me smooth this stuff out a lot more. So I'm going to undo my process here. I'm going to go down to a little lower resolution, and then go and grab that smooth directional. And now smooth this out. And when you use this brush, you want to make sure you go in the direction you want to smooth. So this helps quite a bit. I can always project back what I smooth out to. I can also divide up and down. So that pocket I may not have solved very well right through there. Let's see if I can fix that. So you can always flip your geometry too and then smooth from the inside. And if you notice the stuff's not smoothing, like these points here, you can go to the brush area and go to these smooth brush modifiers. And in here you have a min connected points. You can change this down. It's going to allow me to smooth those out. Because oftentimes those will be generated because of holes in your surface sometimes. Or just really, really far raycast from projection. So I have to redo this part here. So I didn't last it. There are a lot of cleaner ways to go by doing this. Find that hole again. Double-sided also helps quite a bit. There we go. And this time I switch back to the normal smooth because need a more powerful smooth here. And then I'm also going to change it to smooth stronger. And I come in and polish that out a lot faster. There we go. And then I come in and pinch this edge. My hotkey's working. Switch to the H polish. That's another go-to. My Magneto helmet is getting crazy. We got a lot of geometry errors on the sides here. I'm not happy with them. We're going power smoothing. So I'm going to project back some of these from the things there, but I just want to make sure the geometry around the edges are clean. So it's not rough. So this area here, we need some more of that polishing back out. Alright, clean this up. Too crazy. Done broke it. Too much crazy. There's some choices that were made. This probably shouldn't have been made. So I probably shouldn't have kept this other part. I should have kept this separate and worked purely on these two guys here. So I'm going to backtrack and go back to these. And then we're gonna go through with my original plan of masking and fill these holes.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, just give a little bit more to it, but basically, yeah, you can design all kinds of pieces.
And so this one I'm gonna go through and just mask, back face masking. Let's see if I can get this anywhere close to where I want it to be. And this doesn't have to be perfect along these edges. It's just to fill in the holes. So a small brush size. Just going through. You'll see some of my topology is a little bit uneven because I was messing with Sculptors Pro. That's pretty good. And with that back-facing masking, you can see I got all that outer edges as I apply the paint masks. These don't have to be perfectly opaque either as you're doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it and center the Gizmo 3D to scale it in. It's going to come through and give me this. So it's messy to that point. But what I want it to do is just intersect the helmet. So I'm going to do this. And I want to scale it down. So it just intersects it. And then now, go ahead and smooth that out. And this should now fill those.
So you're live right now, huh?
Yes. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping up with the people online, though. But yes. Do you have any questions?
Can I not talk to you?
No, you can talk to me.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
No, you can talk to me.
How many years experience do you have in this software?
Oh man, I don't know. It's been a while. So I bought ZBrush originally when it was $250, and we've never charged for upgrades since. I want to say, man, maybe 12 years now. It's been a while.
It's pretty cool. But why would people stay with Maya or something like that when they can do it intuitively?
It depends. A lot of times it's
Those have different capabilities than this.
They do. Sometimes they contain more items just overall. It depends on also what you're used to is a lot of times.
So I was wondering if it's a comparison of like Photoshop to Illustrator.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
Yeah, there's some of that. You also have some different things that some companies will use it. If you're a game company, sometimes they only use that low resolution. They may not need more than already have a pipeline that's set. It uses Maya. So we're used primarily on like everything, like film, games, movies, TVs, toys, collectibles. I find it more creative rather than technical.
Attention attendees, the exhibit hall will be closing in 30 minutes.
We've been vertices and points, and it doesn't feel creative.
Attention attendees, the exhit hall will be closing in 30 minutes.
Have you tried Infinity stuff yet? Infinity?
No.
That one's got some stuff that feels more like standalone. I'll give you the Illustrator line.
That's 3D program?
No, it's Vector.
Oh, is it Vector? Oh, okay. Yeah. I gotta get into 3D, so I was gonna purchase that lifetime one.
Yeah.
Clients have told me about this thing.
Well, here, if you can, like here, I mean, just your basics of the kind of stuff to kind of
give you a quick rundown on things. So basically, when you use the application, you want to think of it as a ball of clay. And what you do is you want to handle it as a sculptural. So if you had a ball of clay, what would you do? And so your basic principles, so we use these things called the Wacom tablets here, and these are pressure sensitive. So what that means is if I do a light stroke, I get a light arc on the model, and then if I do a heavy stroke, I get a heavy arc. And so I can carve in, carve out, and then I can also smooth.
And your key commands are simple. Are they Control or something?
Yeah, so Alt will give you your carve in. Control will do a masking, so you actually mask it out. And then Shift smooths. So your basic ones are 3. So you just pick a brush, sculpt, I can hold Shift to smooth, I can hold Alt to diffract. And with that, you can start manipulating your entire surface, right? So you can start generating all sorts of different things with that. Now you can add more brushes into it, so we do have a lot of different items that allow you to do things. And a lot of these, most people won't use like 5%, they don't use everything. But we have things like move brushes that we can take, and now we can start pulling our surfaces out, right? Start changing these around. And so when I model stuff in here, what I end up doing oftentimes is I'll come through and I'll start shape filing, right? So I'll see something, and I can pull it out, describe it, and then just keep going and playing until I find something. And then we've also added other things so you can create your own brushes. And so one example of a brush type you can create is a thing called a VDM brush. And this one has all these parts that are sculptural pieces that are already built in. So let's say I want teeth, right? I can take my model and I can take this brush, and now I can start dragging the card, right? And I can start getting those shapes. If I want eyes, I can grab an eye brush and start dragging that out. And now I've got eyes on the model. And then I can increase my resolution. And if I do that, I'll start getting even more detailed versions. And so this can all just keep being applied.
Those are your foundations, and then you'll start working with them.
Yeah, you start working with them. So if I want to start doing like maybe some sort of weird creature from Stranger Things, you know, start pulling these out. And I can do them the other way, and I can get the opposite effect. So you start manipulating these things with a lot of that. And then we also have things that will give you another thing, which are called insert mesh brushes. And these consist of parts. So if you just want to create, or you know, you have something that may have a bunch of rivets that you want to repeat all over the place, this part of the brush has a bunch of parts in it. I can select one of these. And I can adding these. So you can do curves and all sorts of things. It keeps going. There's a lot of stuff in the application.
Now, are there some tutorials with?
So we have a whole bunch of stuff called classrooms. We have a whole bunch of training. It's all free
on your website. Okay.
We also, the stuff I'm doing right now is actually on the stream. The platform's called ZBrushLIVE.
Yeah.
We have artists that use our software all over the country, and they stream. So they sit there and stream anything they're thinking of for hours. So
you can click on any of those artists.
Yeah, you can watch them, you can talk to them, so you can chat with them. So like you say, hey, how did you just do that? They'll usually go through it.
Awesome.
So it's like one more connection.
All right, I'm sold. Yeah, I really appreciate you showing me.
Yeah, anytime.
It's fun to see it working.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I just know it's going to take a few years.
Well, yeah, just think of it in the basics. So the best thing to say is think of it as a ball of clay, and just use it sculpturally. So really, like when you first get it, you'll open up like this, basically.
Yes.
And you just take this, say, animate.
And you determine your resolution up front, like in Photoshop?
Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. We have a canvas-based system, which is like Photoshop, so you have a resolution of the document, and that's going to be your screen size.
Yeah.
And then with it, so with this creature here, just go and say this is going to be the brush you usually start with, it's a standard brush. You have your size of your brush here, and your intensity, and basically just sculpt. So just take it, sculpt, and play with just the carving in, carving out, and smooth. And that's going to be your base start there. And then, when you're done with that, there's this little option here. It's called Sculptors Pro. You're probably not, you can just, if you can remember any of these words, they're going to help you. So we can activate this, and what this does is it gives me the ability to, if I smooth something out, it's going to completely remove it. So with this head here, let's say I don't want her to have an ear anymore. If I hold down Shift and smooth, it's going to remove it. it's going to change the topology so that here is now gone.
Now, why did you go to the red mode?
Well, that's just to show you kind of how it's removing the topology.
Now, would you see more or less of those depending on your resolution?
That's going to be based on the resolution of the model. So we're feeding polygons to it. You can increase the polygon count.
So you could have a billion of them with very tight grid or very loose. Depending on your speeds.
Yeah, and so Sculptors Pro, and then you want to locate the snake hook. And with the snake hook brush, this one's going to allow you to start pulling these surfaces out, and then you can smooth them away, and you'll end up making like holes and redo your topology. And the size of your brush is going to determine how fast and how slow this goes. So you can start generating all sorts of craziness. And that's the basic principle. Because if you think of the clay, if you think of it as clay, you can sculpt pretty much anything you want. And that's because there's a whole bunch of other technical stuff in here that you can do that's going to increase your stuff. The basic principle is this. And if you can master this, you're going to be safe.
I got a 15-year-old daughter that is going into animation. She loves it. She uses all my Wacom, all my equipment.
Yeah.
She'll die of it. So I think it's good to get it just so she starts dabbling.
Yeah, it totally changed because I started 3D Studio Max in games for years. And once this came out, I had one friend that was like, hey, you guys I tried it.
Wow. Well, here's my starting point. Thank you very much. Yeah, Michael's my name.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
Appreciate it. That's great.
Alright, I think I'm back to this mode now. There you go. Sorry guys, we're getting distracted. I'm totally neglecting you online. I apologize.
By the way, I'm buying a new Wacom. Do you know where their booth is?
Right over there. So if you just go...
Next to Funko?
Yeah, so they're right in front of Funko. They got, see the lighted backdrop over there? That's their booth. They're releasing a new product this week too.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go talk to them.
Thank you. Yep. What's that?
So we have,
What is that one?
yeah. So we have ZBrush Core and we have the professional version. So the core version is like our entry level one. So it's like it has some of the stuff, but not everything.
Okay.
So you could definitely start with Core.
Yeah.
Mess with it, see how you like it, and then you can go to the professional version. We have an upgrade path.
Yeah, how do you upgrade then?
So we have basically a support site, and you just get a My License account when you get the software. Then through there you can say I'd like to purchase the upgrade for professional versions from ZBrush.
Will the upgrade be the difference between this price and the 800 and something? Okay.
I don't know if it's the full difference, but they do give you a difference.
Am I limited on the printing with this one?
No.
I'm not.
The formats and some of the stuff we have, like that Sculptors Pro thing, is not in that.
Okay.
So we do have a Dynamesh one, which will allow you have to like preview the process to it, but it's not going to be as automatic. We also have a subscription-based one.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, I didn't know that. I'll take a picture of this one too.
Yeah, you can start with it and then upgrade it, same thing. We're getting close.
Awesome. All right. I can spend a couple hours here. I'll see you later.
Have a good one. Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for you. I think I've lost this attendance. I've got Alright guys, so I think that's it for this evening for review night here at Comic-Con. We'll have other artists demoing, doing little sculpt sessions here. I don't know if you got anything out of this, but hopefully maybe you got something out of what I was doing in our night. So that helps a little bit potentially, so you get some crazy stuff out. I'll be back at some point. I'll change it up. We'll switch from helmets and probably do some more robotic type stuff. We'll do some robots because I like get a bunch of stuff done and hopefully keep you guys entertained for a little bit. And once again, if you guys are at Comic-Con for the week here, definitely stop on by, say hello, get you on camera, and say, hey, I'm on ZBrushLIVE. Come on out. See you here. So thank you all. Signing off. Take care. How's it going? You got any questions?